Hi everybody, my name is Sean with Axiom Tutoring, and today I'm going to be your GCSE Maths tutor. What we're looking at in this lesson is fractions, decimals, and percentages, and all of those are ways to express parts or pieces of a whole. So if you have a pie, and you eat half of that pie, you've had 50% of a pie, or 0.5 of a pie. And they all express pieces of a whole in slightly different ways and for slightly different reasons. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to put these numbers in order by converting them all to the same form. So if you have a list of numbers like 0.35, 1 over 4, 29%, etc., you'll be able to find out which of these is the greatest, which of these is the least, and to put them in order. The first thing that you have to be able to do in order to do this is to convert them all to the same form. Why might this be useful in everyday life? Well, if you see a sale where there's a third off or 30% off, it's useful to be able to work out which of those is more. And you can start doing this almost immediately just by focusing on two skills. One of those is finding out what happens when you divide or multiply by 10, 100, 1,000, or any multiple of 10. We know that if we take a number like 53 and multiply it by 10, we just add a 0 to the end. What if we wrote it like this? 53 pounds, and we multiplied that by 10. Well, that would be 530 pounds. Notice the effect on the decimal. Multiplying by 10 moved it one space to the right, making the number bigger. What happens if we do the opposite? What if we have 5,300 pounds and we divide that by 100? Well, we would have 53 pounds. That has the effect of moving the decimal point over twice. The next thing is to convince yourself of just one fact, and that is if we have a line with a length of 1, splitting it in the middle is 0.5. 0.5 is the same as half of that line, which is the same as 50%. Let's write those together. 1/2 equals 0.5 equals 50%. Well, let's focus on the part where we convert decimals to percentages, and then you'll see how easy it is to then turn those into fractions at a later point. If 0.5 is 50%, 0.6 must be more than that. How much more? 10% more. 0.6 is 60%. So 0.7 must be 70%. What about 0.8? That's 80%. Well, what's in between 70% and 80%? 75%. What's in between 0.7 and 0.8? 0.75. So 0.75 is 75%. Now, you should be able to take any decimal, like 0.34, and know that that is equal to 34%. What about if there were 3 numbers instead? Well, if we only had the 0.12, we know that that would be 12%. If we had 0.130, we know that that would be 13%. So 125 or 0.125 must be 12.5%. And that is that when you get to the third digit, you go into the decimal percentages. So what is 0.72 as a percentage? 72%.